What's up, YouTube? It is Sunday, May, what is the day? 23rd. Sunday, May 23rd. I think it's about 4:15 p.m. and I finally got the Rolling Sands Clarity cam chest cover installed. That was a pain in the butt. Let's start it up. Pain in the butt because of the exhaust bracket that was in the way. Oops. No, not signal. Oh, there it is. Pretty cool. Alright, so gonna take it on a test drive. So just got it installed, haven't ridden it yet. I just started it up after I got it on, put the oil back in, also changed the oil. So yeah, what made that a pain in the butt was the exhaust bracket. It was in the way. The Clarity cover is a little wider diameter, kind of like a little thicker, not much, like literally a hair, but it was enough where I couldn't get all the bolt holes to line up. So that was a pain in the butt because that bracket, that is the exhaust bracket there, has 3 Torx head bolts that hold it in, and 2 of them are in between the block and the frame. And there was so little room, you couldn't get a Torx socket or a wrench or anything in there. So what I had to do was get the bike secured, get a floor jack under the engine, and remove those motor mount bolts, and then jack the engine up an inch or 2, and then I was able to get a Torx head on it, but I had to remove the Torx head from the socket. It wouldn't fit in there with it on the socket, let alone on a ratchet in the socket. And then I had to get a little tiny wrench that fit the other side of the Torx head. Am I making sense? Actually, I ended up just using a crescent wrench. It was easier. And had to like get a screwdriver to try to hold it in place, and then slowly work it like an 1/8 to maybe a 1/4 turn at a time until I got that out. One of the bolts, it was clear where you could just stick the socket up there on an extension and undo it, but the other 2 were right in between the frame and the block, and you couldn't get anything in there. So like I said, I had to remove the 2 motor mount bolts, jack the engine up a few inches, and then I was able to at least get the Torx on there, but I had to pull it out of the socket to get it in there. It was a T27, and those things are so tight. I broke one of my T27 Torx bits, and my other one, it kind of is, it didn't break, but it tweaked. So now I kind of toasted both my T27 Torx bits. So yeah, all you could get in there was the Torx bit itself, and that only left like this much room at the bottom, which I'll kind of wedge the screwdriver to hold it in place while I got the ratchet on there, or the wrench, or the crescent wrench, and started turning that thing. That is the biggest pain in the butt. So if you're thinking about that, and I'm assuming that's a stock exhaust clamp on here, it was in the parts manual. Just, man, what a pain in the arse. That was not fun. Right now my back is killing me. It took me, I would say, a solid 3.5 hours. What should have been like an hour and 15-minute job I mean, you just pull the exhaust off and take those 10 cam chest cover bolts out and swap it. But I probably spent about 2 hours just on getting those bolts out and then trying to get them back in. Getting them back in was fun. Trying to hold those things in place while you tighten it back up. So anyways, finally got that cover on. I've had that cover, I think I got it back in January. And I went to go try to install it one day, and that's when I discovered, oh, I'm gonna have to remove that bracket to get it on there. So what I did was I removed it and then tightened the back bracket back up with it on there, and that all worked well. I didn't have to bend it. Let's say it was literally like a hair off. It was barely not fitting on there with the exhaust bracket. So I don't know if maybe it was bent. Oh, and then also on that, the bolt that goes in that exhaust bracket wouldn't fit back in there because the rolling sand sticks out further and it sticks over where that bolt is. So I had to get a skinnier bolt and then run it back the other way from the bottom with the washer and a littler nut. So I got it to work, but that was another pain in the butt. Luckily I got quite a few jars of miscellaneous nuts and bolts and washers. So I had to, for one, it had to be a smaller bolt, but then I had to get some bigger washers with small holes, which I had, so the bolt didn't just fall through the hole. So I got that on there. So this was a learning experience, but I finally got it on there, got the oil changed. I was gonna do the shifter cover and the derby cover, but I was spent, man. I'm done. My back was killing me from laying there trying to hold that thing in place. My arms were killing me too from like holding them up at a side and trying to keep my arms out. I was done. So I'll do the primary and the gearbox oil later, and those clarity covers later. I had just a little over 3,000 since my last oil change, so I think they say you can go like 5 with that synthetic oil, but I still try to change my oil around every 3. And I usually do the transmission and the primary at the same time. I think a lot of people do it every other time. But anyways, got all that done. Yay! And hopefully it doesn't leak. I've seen some people complain about those clarity covers leaking, but I think it's because a lot of people buy these knockoffs. They look pretty much on the outside like the real thing. Now I bought these from a shop, and I am 95% sure they're not knockoffs. They had like handwritten serial numbers on the inside. Plus the knockoffs, they said that the screws or the bolts that hold on the Lexan, they go all the way through on the knockoffs. On the real ones, you look on the inside of the cover and you can't see where the bolts come through. So this one, the bolts don't go all the way through, and I think that's why the knockoffs leak, is those holes are tapped and go all the way through the cover, so they start getting fluid up those threads and out those bolt holes. So I just gotta take it on a short little ride, make sure it's not leaking, because this was a used cover. It wasn't brand new. It was off Get Down Custom Cycles. It was off his, actually it was off his Dyna, and he was putting something different on. I did put a new gasket on finally. I had to reuse that other gasket like 3 times, but since I had it all lined up and knew that it was gonna fit, I decided to put the new gasket on now. Typically there's a lot of residual oil when you pull that cover off, but I think I got it cleaned up pretty good. There was all kinds of oils wiping off from the underneath the bike there. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we don't have any oil leaks. It holds well, because it sure does look cool. I like it. It's kind of neat. You can see inside there. You can see that I've got the hydraulic cam chain tensioner, and you can see that it's fueling. I think you can see the word fueling actually on the I think it's on the tensioner. I think it says it's engraved in it. It's kind of hard to see. So we'll I'm gonna go stop over here and hop off the bike, just kind of look, make sure it's not, you know, oil's not pouring out of it. We'll stop up here by the Sunken Gardens, the park right here. We'll do it in the sunlight so we can get a good look. Boom, boom. So, at least it's not pouring out of there. I just want to make sure nothing was like spewing out. So it looks like if it does end up leaking, it will probably be a small leak, which I don't anticipate it leaking. I just, after reading some of the reviews, I was a little worried. Pretty cool. See, I think it says fueling right there. You probably can't see it. It's engraved. You can see the chain spinning there. Oil flowing against the Lexan. But nothing dripping, nothing obviously leaking. So I'm happy, yay! Finally got it on there. I was just dreading doing that because I knew it was going to be a pain in the butt. I hadn't checked my P.O. box in probably a month. I think that's right about what it was, because I looked at the postmarks on the oldest item in there, and it was I think it was from the mid-April into April. So yeah, it's probably been at least a month since I checked it. I did have 2 items in there, so I don't know if maybe I'll add the mail call to this video. It's only 2 things, but I don't think this video is going to be real long, so maybe I'll add it to it and do a mail call at the end of this. I got something from Blues Harp Biker in Fresno, which is awesome, so I gotta send him some stickers. That's the one that was postmarked like mid-April, I think it was. So this one's sitting in my P.O. box for a while, so I'm not ignoring you. Wasn't not getting back to you. I had just been lazy and haven't checked my P.O. box. And then the other, who was it from? I can't remember who it was from. Well, we'll find, if I do mail call after this, we'll find out fairly quick. Cruising through the old hood. All right, well, in case I don't do mail call, which I probably will, we'll do our exit now. So remember, all you hooligans out there, please hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, comment, share. Tell your friends about the channel if you want. And remember, ride like everyone's a hired assassin trying to kill you. Stay safe. Peace. Beautiful. Looks beautiful.